There you go. Good afternoon again. This is part two of today's stream. I know I made a mistake. Two mistakes yesterday and today. I started stream with my stream being private. And I'm like, "Oh my God, I don't know what kind of stupidity is that." But it's something is an error. I mean, it's a newbie error that I did, and it's okay, you live and you learn. So, but I appreciate anybody extra that's coming by today and helping me out, with viewers and stuff like that. And anybody that's new, don't forget to hit the like, the share, and the follow as well. To support my channel to grow and stuff like that. We dedicate with stocks, especially low price stocks today. And from Monday to Friday, we do this. We find stocks and we analyze some of them and prepare. And that's kind of what we're doing today. And I mean, the first half of the stream, I did most of I mean, we had a lot of talk there, but I haven't finished yet for the stocks. But I've noticed, like, in the middle of the stream, I was like, okay, well, let me see my stream through my phone and see if it's going well, because normally that's what I do, and I check whether the stream is doing okay or not, and if it's showing up and everything. And so it didn't it was not showing up on my phone, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm worried because I'm not sure if I'm streaming or not. And so I'm looking at the OBS, and it's showing that it's going. And so I'm like, okay, well, what the hell is going on then, because it's not showing on my phone. And so I was looking at the settings, all the settings on Rumble and everything, and all of a sudden I see that it says private, and I'm like, oh, it says you can't stream, people cannot see you while you're private. And I'm like, oh my God, this whole time I've been talking my lungs out and nobody's watching. So I had to fix that. I had to change it to public, and so now you guys could see me, clearly and everything. So welcome, guys, to the channel. And this is Boricua Pati. You could call me Bori or Boricua, however you feel comfortable, or B for short. And I have many platforms. Right now I don't have TikTok working, but eventually I will have TikTok working. And but I have many platforms on the description. You could go ahead and check on the description. You will see it. And so let's jump into it. For the second half of the stream, we were looking at. I'm gonna show you the first two stocks that we looked at, just so you guys could, like, you know see what happened, because I'm not sure if you guys gonna jump into the first stream, but we're gonna look into that right now. And I don't know if you guys can see clearly on the third. Let me put the and so let me put the document, and there you go. Now you guys can see clearly how everything looks. And I don't know why the background is not showing. I usually it have to shows up. Um, Weird. Let me see really quick, because it's very, I don't like see like those dark spots and stuff like that. So we'll fix that really quick. Oh, it was on the download section. Okay, never mind. Let me check the photo, and here we go. Now we got everything. Okay, now it looks a little bit more clean. And so, as you can see here, let's see the document again. The first ones we were looking at was EVTV and LU. So we're gonna look at that really quick. I'm not gonna do too much on it, because I already covered it on the first stream of today. So let's check EVTV. EVTV. And so EVTV. yesterday we had said that, we were waiting for a pullback because it had extended a lot, off of that first move. It had extended a lot, and so it had to, we were waiting for a pullback off the support level, and that's exactly what it did. It did it, perfectly, very perfectly. Today it tried to break out convincingly, but it failed, and it went down and hit these levels of support here and bounce off, twice its size of where the resistance is at. It not only did it a good job on market open, but it also did midday as well. Really good. So this was a good move. You could have caught it at the bounce, or you could call it the breakout. You would have got good moves there. So that's it for EVTV. If you wanna hear a little bit extra, it's on the first stream. It shows up on my contents, and so the second one that we're gonna cover is LVLU. So let's go ahead and check LVLU. And so LVLU had a good move yesterday, and since it closed near the highs, well, it gave back almost half of its gains, but it was still up there. Um, you know, we were waiting for a pullback anyways because it had made this big move and it had to recover. So eventually, that's kind of what it did. But on the comments we had said has multiple consecutive green days, still close a little bit. We'll keep a watch since prices between support levels and VWAP. So that's kind of what we saw. And so, the next comment that we put out for today, we said keep watch, no trade, resting day as it consolidated today and didn't had too much action, had much action today. Tomorrow we might see a test of yesterday highs if volume shows up. Simple as that. Rest Truth Pod say hello, my friend. Hey, appreciate it. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you. I I still have a habit of looking at my phone at the chats, but I still I can see it here clearly because I set it up this way. So I have to remember to look at the chat over here on my right side. But I appreciate you coming by and showing support. Thank you so much. And so let's continue. And so yeah, the stock didn't have much activity, and so we're kind of waiting for it to like for volume to pick up, pre-market or market open, as it is pretty much concentrating on attracting buyers at this point. So let's see if the buyers show up and push this price up. And so that's kind of what we're gonna look up for tomorrow. But no trade at all for this one. And EVTV as well. I put a comment here. I said keep watch, no trade, as it had did what we planned. However, it didn't close strong today. So unfortunately, that one very very doubtful to wait for a trade. And so we'll continue to the next one. And so today we had a look at the first one that we had on screen. This was kind of my criteria that I was explaining on the first video. But unfortunately, nobody was able to see anything because I had it on private. But that's okay. That was a mistake, my mistake that I made. It's okay. You live and you learn. That's what I had to say. But let's go on to the stock. So this was the criteria that we normally choose. We focus on the market cap. We focus on the let me find the criteria. There we go. On the micro cap, we focus on the price, we focus on the relative volume, the current volume, the performance, the industry that we in, which is stocks, and the float, which is the supply of the stock. Those are the little short form of my criteria. I also have it in the documents here, as you can see, as well. Let me see, let me go back up so you guys can see a little bit. So that's kind of my criteria there, and the bottom as well for market close. And so I won't talk up too much about it because I already did talk about it in the first part of the stream. Not this is part two. So this one is we're gonna just hop onto the second one, um, and so these are the stocks that the first one that we saw, and so let's go ahead and go back to the custom filter. There we go. Okay, and so now we close everything, but we have all this clean, and so now we can see the stocks. And so the first one was XAIR. XAIR. And so right here, it had an excellent move. I mean, you could have caught it different times, either through the breakout or the bounce off support. You could have caught it in those ways. It did consolidate it at the highs of day, and it still, it closed pretty strong above the VWAP as well. Today is more, it's still like it's, the after hours is still holding. So, you know, we might see a bounce off support of this support at VWAP line and probably test these highs here. But the actual support is these levels here are the actual support levels at this moment. So if it breaks down these VWAP line here, then it most likely have to test these support levels in order to try to gain more power to break out these upper levels here, upper resistance levels. That's kind of what I wanted to say. And so, or it could turn around and test these highs again and break out and make another move, so it could go either way. The thing is that it's strong, and we have to watch it, and so we in the comments we had said, let me see if you guys can see the comments. Okay, we had said good price, great volume, low flow, had a contract news. That's a good thing to watch as well, the news. And so, it also closed strong, had a daily chart. On the daily chart, it looked, just like other stocks. The most of the low price stocks, they look terrible, but it does have some history of running. That's a good thing to see. The plan will be for us to wait for a pullback off VWAP and or to the support level and test high day at 266. That's kind of what we're seeing here at the yellow lines here up here. And so that's simple as that. And so the next one that we check on the list, right, was EVTV, which we already explained about it. Aton didn't had nothing interesting to see. Let me see if that's the right one. Aton. Aton. So it did had a move on after hours yesterday, but had not held those levels. I don't like to see this swinging action like this unless it's gonna do something, like breaking out or something and moving. But this right here is showing me that, there's no control at all in this price action. And so, we had checked also the news. It had a offering news. I think you guys could see. Let me see if you guys can see it here. Anton, let's check. And so, as you can see, it said today at 3 p.m. Eastern time. It said Capital Corp announces $15 million register direct offering. That right there is not good news. You know that means, they're trying to get money, in order to either, liquidate this company and use that money to buy another company, or um make other investments, other because this company is already almost dead. This company is not, if you look at the daily chart, look what's happening. It at it is right now is almost at its lowest point here. It's under the dollar. Right now it's a little bit above the dollar, but you know, G2G Gaming say, let me read the comment real quick. G2G say, buenas noches y Dios te bendiga. Oh, gracias igualmente, gracias por el support. Eh, Gracias por pasar por acá también. So also we in this channel we speak Spanish, English. That's the good thing about me knowing two languages, that I could put it down on both. Pa mi gente allá en Puerto Rico. And so, o for somebody, anybody, cualquier persona que habla español también puede ser mexicano, lo quien sea, you know. So, so it's for everyone. For it's not for a specific type of people. And so, I think G2G Gaming for showing support. I also, share a lot of other contents of other people on the X platform to help them and everything. Other people could see their stuff and everything. So I'm pretty much just showing support not only to myself but to other people as well that are doing content, good content as well. So salute to everyone that's watching as well. So thank you, appreciate it. Thank you, G2G Gaming. And so let's go ahead and continue. And so XTLB was not the one that we were talking about. We were talking about Anton. And so on the chart, right, you could see this red candle here, right? It opened up here, right? For a green candle, just in case if you guys don't know about candlesticks, this body here that you see is at the point where the fluctuation of the stock starts and ends. So for the green candle, that means the majority of buyers and sellers winning here is the buyers, and the red is for, you got a majority of sellers. There's a majority of sellers here, and in order for this to show up on the charts, it has to show up first on the tape in order for that to happen. And so, you guys could look more research into that, but in this case, for the red candle, the open session of this 5-minute candle is up here, right here at the end, at the top of the body, right? And you see this long line here. This is uh, a moment where the price went up, but it couldn't hold, so it ended up closing down here. So this price action, what happened here was it opened right here, right, and it tried to make this run. It tried to make this run, and then sellers just push the price down, all the way down, all the way down, all the way down. And at the end of the 5 minutes, it closed right down here at the end of the body. And so that's kind of how it ended here. And so it's always good to analyze these stocks, and analyze especially the candlesticks, to understand where the price action is flowing, or how it's flowing. But to know exactly where the buyers and sellers are located, that right there would be the level 3 that you should watch. I would recommend you guys to watch the level 3 and the level 4. And I mean, there's many people that would explain what is that level 3, level 4, or level 2 as well, which is a basic part of knowing the fluctuation of the pending orders and everything. And so those are good things to check, as well. And that will go together hand in hand with the chart and with your account, where when you start putting the order, to buy at whatever price that you're gonna buy shares from. Um, and so that's how this red candle works, and so the green candle, it works the opposite. This bottom body is the open of the candle, and then it tried to make a move up here, it tried to go up here, and it failed. And then it went down here, and at the end of the 5 minutes, it closed right up here. So that's how the this green candle works. And so, there's a lot of fluctuation of price going on here, but as you can see in this on this move, and more clearly on this move, look what happened at almost the same as that other candle, right? It made almost the same move, and look what happened the next day. It dropped. Let me see if I can find another one almost as similar. Look at this one. Look at this one. Same thing. Open up, did that big move, closed down here, and the next day it failed. So yeah, this is what happened to this stock. That's why I made the decision not to have it on the list. Even so, it made a good move here, but look what it ended up doing after hours. If you would have bought here thinking that you may see another move here, think again, because look after hours what happened. You would have lost your money there. So you have to be very careful and not compromise yourself, thinking that you know what's going on, um, without looking at the charts. You make an order and then go away. You close the account and don't worry about it. No, I mean, with these stocks, you can't do that. You just can't go away. These stocks are more for day trading. You have to trade right at the moment that you see it. You know, if you see a play, you trade it right there, hold it, whatever your tolerance is or whatever your game plan is, 5, 10 minutes, and that's it. It's over with. You get out, get your profit, and you're done. You don't want to go ahead and buy and say, "Oh, I'm gonna be rich tomorrow," and go, and you know, forget about the stock and just worry about your day, and then the next day you're like, "Oh shoot, I just lost all my money," and so this is not a strategy to do to take you should take this seriously, and so um yeah, you got to pay attention, when you're trading. You just can't go away and forget about it, now you could do that with the big stocks like Tesla or Amazon and stuff like that. They don't fluctuate like these stocks. They fluctuate very short. They do very short move, 2%, 3%. So it's not gonna hurt you by you leaving and not worrying about it for 2 days. It's not gonna hurt you. It'll probably hurt you a couple cents, or depending on how much money you got on that stock, but not much. It won't hurt you much. Now this stock right here, you either win everything, you either win a lot of money or you lose all your money, especially with the cash account. And a margin account worse, because a margin account you have to borrow money if you want to get more shares than what you have on your account or worth of your account, then you have to borrow from the broker, and the broker will lend you as much as what you're available to for them to borrow. And so if you own the money, you have to pay it back. It's like a bank. And so if you don't pay, collections will come from for you. Just like any other bank would do the same process and stuff like that. And um so that's kind of what you have to worry about, the margin account. And so in the margin account also you have a PDT rule, and so the PDT rule in the market is that you can only have 3 trades for the entirety of the week. So, you know, if you make more than 3 trades, your account will close if you don't have more than 20,000 and 25,000. I'm not sure what are the limits, but it's always good to check the limits. And so, yeah, with the BDT rule, you don't have a lot of, especially if you're under $20,000 in that account. Yeah, like you don't have a lot of trading options there. Now with a cash account, you could trade all the time, anytime. However, let's say you make the trade, right, and you won a little bit of money. Like, yeah, you could trade with the rest of money that you have left, but the downside of it is that you gotta wait. If let's say you trade with all the money that you had on that account, right, and you made a profit. Let's say you make a positive profit. You cannot trade anymore for that day until the next day. That's the only bad thing about that. It has to the money has to settle, and it takes 24 hours for it to settle. And so sometimes it takes 2 days to settle. And depending on what account you're trading, but you can only make 1 trade per day if you trade with the entirety of your money. But if you trade in uh, little amounts, then you could trade on and on until you pretty much trade with whatever rest of money that you had on that account. And if you win in all your trades, then that's good. that's good news, but you have to wait 24 hours to see that money again in order to trade again. That's the only downside. But with the margin account, I mean, you could trade if you're above the PDT rule, then you could trade as many times as much times as you wanted to. Now, if you're under 20 25 25 thousand or whatever money that there is on the PDT, if you're under the PDT, then you can only trade 3 times per week, and no more than that. If not, they'll lock your account until you have that type of money. And so that's the only bad thing about the margin. And so and that's not the only thing. There's money things before that, which I already explained. But you know, I choose a cash account because I have more control of my money. I have way more, even though I have to wait a day or two for the money to settle in order for me to, but I only trade 2 times a day. That's it. I don't trade more than that. I don't trade 10, 20, 30 times. If you're making, well, if you're making profit and you're consistent and you're trading that amount of times, then congrats to you. You're doing what works for you. But if you're learning and you're not, you're right now not where you're supposed to be, then I would recommend only 1 or 2 times per day. That's it. Over with. And don't trade with your whole account. Trade with a little small amount, that you feel comfortable losing, just in case if anything goes south. You won't worry about missing it. And so that's the only thing. And so it takes a mental strength in order to trade. Because if you're not good with money and you always depressed about money, and you fear of losing the money, when you're trading, if you have those thoughts like that, you're gonna lose the money. You have to have, and that I cannot say that that's not what you're gonna feel at the beginning, which you are, because I used to feel the same way. But eventually it's gonna go away. That thought is gonna, trading 50, $100 and worry about losing it, that's gonna all gonna go away eventually. The more you keep trading, you know. And so um that's kind of the little tips there. I know I went in on a little side road there, but let's continue. So Aton is not in trade for today, so let's go ahead and take that off. Decoy, I think we did look at decoy. Let's look at decoy again. Decoy and my stream look okay. Okay. And so decoy right here, it had a pretty good move today at pre-market, but it couldn't hold these highs and above the VWAP, so it failed. Um I was pretty confident about it being near, closing near the VWAP line. However, after hours it failed to hold a little bit more closer to the VWAP. So yeah, I'm not that confident right now about this. Unless pre-market, it would test these VWAP and break out. Eventually, if it shows up on my scanners, especially the on the percentage change and stuff like that, and if it has volume as well, it will show up on my scanners too. So that will help me a lot. See if I could dig into this one, but I didn't wrote it on my list because right now it's not doing what I wanted it to do. Or what I wanted to see. Not at the end of the day, the stock won't do what you want to do, but what you want to see. That's kind of where you want to analyze. And so decoy no good today. XTLB is the one that we were just writing down. We said, oh, we'll only keep on watch for analysis. Had okay move, market open, has given back half of its gains, but it hold in between support and below VWAP line. Will it test highs again tomorrow? High day again. We'll see. And so if we look at the chart, XTLB, we'll see here. Exactly what we wrote. It's in between VWAP and the support line, and that's pretty good. It's not that bad. And it hasn't given back all of its gains. This was part of its gains here that it made at this move. but it didn't give it back away completely. It gave back almost half of its gains. But it seems like pre-market could test these VWAP lines and break out and eventually test these 141 zone. My plan would be for it to break out and trade over here, but I didn't put that on my comments because I want to see my theory here on these two lines right here, whether it's gonna bounce off support with strength and try to test these highs, or whether it's gonna break out these VWAP lines here and break and test the highs of days anyways. But overall, my theory is for it to test the highs of days. So we'll keep this on watch to analyze for tomorrow. And we have IOTR to check. It looked pretty good on that little photo right there. And so we only have two more left before we're done. I'm not gonna check all these other ones. These are the ones that have the most volume, and so this is what the people are watching here. I would only watch these if we only have like three or four to watch. I will only watch these, but I won't. These are don't they don't have a lot more action in these up here. And so let's go ahead and go to IOTR. IOTR. Oh, TR right here. And so IOTR is a failure. In pre-market, it had a good run here. This good spike. But it couldn't hold above VWAP, for the rest of the day. It failed. And that's not good to see in a stock. There's no strength. And so on the daily, it's terrible. It's showing the same history here. You know, it went up for the day, opened here, went up, and then it failed and cracked down. This one is doing almost the same thing, but it opened good and it closed pretty decent. But if you see on the 5 minute, not great. And that on the daily will only show me the daily will. There's another tip. The daily chart will only show me from this point to this point, which is this is the open time of the market and this is the close time of the market. It will not show me these fluctuations on pre-market or after hours. So that's one thing that you guys should analyze as well. You have to pay attention to that because you won't see it on the daily, you know. And so yeah, the that price action on pre-market, it could have gone all the way to up these areas here. You see, it went up to 574. Let's mark it down because just in case if we see this stock again in the future, we know that we saw it. And so look at the daily, where that line was, way up high from this candle. You see what I'm talking about? And so why it didn't went above those levels, that price? Look at all the resistance holding that price. You know, this was a good resistance. All this was a resistance hold of that, holding that price down. And so it didn't want to go. And you got all this overhead resistance as well. You know, had a bunch of splits. I guess. I mean, well, it shows one split here, so it had a stock split, which is not good for the stock as well. But you know, bigger stocks too do stock splits as well, so it's not something out of the ordinary. So big stocks do that as well. So but yeah, in the 5 minute, not great. Not interested. So let's go to the next one. PMAX is the last one that we're gonna check. So PMAX, let's check PMAX. And so PMAX, not struggling, doing the same, had the same move as the other one too. So not great. Uh, Overall chart is terrible. It had splits too, so no good. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Well, all we have for these stocks is four actually, but two of them are the main ones that we're gonna either trade or take advantage if they show up with volume. And so yeah, that's pretty much it with the stocks. Let's go for the crypto. And so on the crypto, we it's totally different. The crypto is totally different. We're gonna once you check I use coin market cap. I did set on other streams that I'm gonna add these um add these on my description, but I'm I won't do that because I have a Discord channel now. And so on the Discord, I have plenty of resources, different websites where you could scan the stocks and well the cryptos and everything like that. So you guys could go ahead and go to the Discord, and you don't have to like stay there. Like you could get in there, get the information you need, and then head out. But if you guys could stay there and then be part of the community, then that would be great as well. So that would be a good thing. And so but in this case, coin market cap is you know um the platform that I search for these cryptos. And so this is pretty much, for those that are new watching, this is pretty much all I do every day. I show you guys how to find stocks in crypto, and that's the case. The rest is up to you. The studying to understand how um uh you know how the candles work, how to buy and sell stocks or or crypto or anything like that, how to analyze news and everything. Now all this, it doesn't mean that you guys can ask me questions. You guys can ask me any question. I'll do my best to answer them. And if I have to like send out a link or whatever for you guys to watch, then you guys could do that as well. But there's plenty of people on YouTube and stuff like that where they explain this very, very well. I'm just showing you just basic stuff that you guys should know, and that a lot of influencers have a hard time explaining to people, because normally they have everything through a subscription and stuff like that. And so a lot of people don't like getting into subscriptions and stuff like that. But me, I'm just giving everything out for free. I don't care. And so I'm just growing the channel little by little. And so you know it, um it's whatever. At the end of the day, I don't care. Like the money at the end of the day is not my priority. And so I just want to grow the channel and have a little bit more support, for to help people at the end of the day learn the stocks. Because when I started, I had a hard time with everything, and I had to get subscriptions and everything. And through the subscriptions, I mean, I guess these influencers were so busy that they couldn't like answer simple questions, when you wanted to learn, actually. And so they have their own group and stuff like that, their little small circle. And so me, I don't have barriers. I teach people however. I don't care. If I have to teach 30 people or 40 or 50, or I don't care. I don't have limitations. And so I just kind of little went went on a little rant, but my bad, guys. But that's how it is. I had a hard time. It took me a little bit more than 10 years to really get this back down. And so you guys are getting this for free. And so that's a good thing. And whatever question that you guys have, just shoot it out. And so let's go ahead and scan for the cryptos. We're gonna analyze some of the cryptos that we wrote down. Which was these two. I think we already had these, but we couldn't find nothing yesterday. So we're gonna look at these for analyzing, and if it didn't do anything today, then we're gonna go ahead and remove them. So let's do that before we go ahead and scan for the crypto. And so Fizz is the first one that we're gonna go ahead and check really quick before we jump into scanning the crypto really quick. So on the 5 minute, as you can see, it was at the back end of the move, so it couldn't break these resistance levels. They were too strong. And so yeah, this stock it's at its end right now. Looking for the breakout. Keep watch. Yeah, nah, it didn't break out today, so unfortunately, we'll take that one off. And so let's check swap really quick. Swap. And so swap. Today it did try to test these support levels and didn't do anything right now. It's in a period of consolidation, and after those period, its moments here, where it trend up. I'm not sure if it's gonna do that today. Um, it's getting near these support levels, so I'm not sure if it's gonna hold these levels very pretty soon. So uh, you know what? We'll keep a watch on it because I wanna know when it's gonna be the time where it's gonna break down. How longer it's gonna take for it to break? Because over here it took a long, long time. You, you know what? We're gonna take this off. I'm not gonna spend too much time on this one. Let's take this one off. Let's make a new list, guys. And so 13, 26, and it's already how how late it is. It's 4:46. So I've been streaming since 2 o'clock, like two something, 2:40 something on the first part. This is the second part because I made the mistake of streaming for these past 2 days on a private on private and then it put in public, so nobody was able to see anything. So that was kind of my bad. It's just a newbie thing, and so but it's okay. So let's go ahead and get to this part. Let's see if you guys can see it clearly. Coin market cap. Okay, you guys can see it. And so if you guys don't see this screen, just tap the title, and it will get you to this screen. And so right here we hit this filter tab, and we're gonna see this square box here. And so the next thing we want to see is just like we do with the stocks, we want to filter out with the market cap. And so market cap, it has to be 1 million, right? And no more than 10 million. That's for the market cap. The next thing is the demand. We want to only see 1 million, just like the stocks. However, the difference is we want to see 100 million, no more than 300, no more than 100 million. And so percentage change, the only thing that changes is instead of doing 20, we were going to go 10 and max to 500%. And so right here, as you can see, we have a good list of like 14 cryptos here that show up. And so I like to sort out from 24-hour percentage change. And the reason why we doing percentage change instead of not doing percentage change is because crypto works 24 hours. Crypto doesn't sleep, so um, we sort out by percentage change, and that right there will give me the most active cryptos running right now at this moment. And so we only have 1, 2, 3, 4 to look at, and so we'll check bot today. And so bot today, let's see. Bot today had a great, excellent move, and it looks like it's getting near the highs to break out at these levels, these upper levels here of resistance. That right there would be the resistance level. And this was the previous resistance level right here. There was no opportunities here to trade at these breakout levels because they were not convincing breakout levels. Sorry, guys. But we'll mark here a trend line to monitor. This this is more of a short term trend line. It's because if I mark the low of the previous day with the low here, it's just gonna be horizontal. But if you mark here the ones that you could see clearly that it is a low, a higher low, then you could kind of monitor. what you're watching. So right here, this is the low, somewhere around here, and it bounced off these other support. These are support levels too. So, but we'll keep a watch on it, and we'll do another one just to monitor where the fluctuation of the price is going. So it seems like it's near breaking out very soon. So if it doesn't break out, it's gonna bounce and try to test these high uh, high trending support levels here. So we'll keep it on watch. So bot is gonna be the first one to keep on watch for the breakout. I'm gonna put 450. Well, these times over here, um 0045. I'll put the times of the what do you call that? The trading view site, just to know. And this is for the 14 26 0045 to understand where we were looking at this thing. And so that right there, that's the first one. If you want to go and get more info on why it went up this high, I mean, you could search for the information. It had a 334 million supply of this code here, this coin. Um, that's a lot more than the demand here, which is 4 million. So that's not a that's not good, but it's not the only thing that defines the action of the price. The next thing that you would check is the news as well. If it had news, right at this moment, it doesn't have no news of the stock that the crypto posted. However, it does have some type of news on the what do you call that, the social media. I'm not sure how much, but we won't look at it because I don't know if there's limitations on Rumble or any other platforms. So we were not because especially if we look at the X platform, which I like very much, um, there's a lot of crazy stuff at the X, and so we don't want to show that on the platforms because I don't want to get dinged on some crazy stuff, so gotta be, as those who are creators, you have to be very aware what you're streaming, because you don't want to post things there. There might be children looking and stuff like that. So I wouldn't recommend nobody to post stuff like in the X unless the platforms allows it, then that's otherwise. But I still won't do it because you see so much, especially on the For You tab and stuff like that. Yeah, we don't want to do that. So yeah, this one had a good news. I won't go too much to check, what more analysis that I have to check, but there's so much information here. Even the holders of the company, you know, what the community is saying and all that, the news, the overall market and stuff. So there's a lot of stuff you could analyze, But in this case, I'm just gave you guys what is running right now. So bot is already listed. You was the one that we checked yesterday, but we didn't see anything interesting. You see, you got a lot of this up and down zigzagging. This not showing me nothing that I want to see. See, I don't want to see this type of movement here. Very, very hard to understand. So yeah, this one is no good. Go on to the next one. So we got two more to go, and we're almost done, guys. So flying ketamine horse. Um, overall doesn't look great. We'll check the trading view. Let's see. FKH. FKH. And so let's check crypto. And so it had its moments a couple days ago. It's been going up and down. That's a good thing. I mean, but it's overall it's not doing great. We'll see. Let's see. Yeah, no. This is the front end of the crypto. This right here would have been perfect to see. Very beautiful to see. However, look what it did this couple weeks. It gave back all of its gains. And so that right there attracts buyers that like to buy crypto at a cheap price. That's why you see this movement today. Um, but I'm not sure if this thing is gonna get up on the fundamental side. I'm not sure if it's losing money or something. I only trade the technical part of it. I don't trade the fundamental part of it. I don't analyze the fundamental part of it. So um yeah, that this right here, it's the back end of it. I won't focus on it, even though it had a good move today. Last 2 days, let's mark a trend here. This was the high of today, of this day, and the high of that day was this candle right here. Boom. So that was the high of that day, and the high of this day was that point right there. And so we mark a trend here. And right after it broke out convincingly, not like this one, but convincingly broke out this levels, it maintained this move right here, and it did like a roller coaster. So that's a good. This means a turnaround. It's more of a turnaround, but it did almost the same thing as this right here. It did this turnaround. Um, I'm not sure if it's gonna hold that turnaround. So will be good to see. Um, let me. You can mark the levels of resistance for the previous days, just like we did with the trend lines here, with the downtrending line. You get the high of day for the previous days, and those are the highest days. So if this thing would continue, what I would like to see is a bounce right now around these ranges and test these highs again in order for me to be more confident about it. At this point, we don't know what's going to go on, but we'll have it on the list because we want to analyze that bounce afterwards, you know. So if it break down convincingly and didn't bounce, then that was a failure of this crypto. So let's go ahead and look at and add this FKH FKH. Keep on watch for bounce off support level, and we're gonna put here the date, which is today. Well, tomorrow actually. This is already the next day, 14/1/14. 26, and we're gonna put here 0055 55. And so the good days to watch, like the good hours to watch these cryptos, is either at the beginning of their stock trading or at the end of it. It's where they make the most big moves here. So this one will be good to watch and see whether it bounces off those levels there. But I think do we have another one? Oh yeah, Corey is the last one for the day. So Corey will be the last one, and overall, this already the back end of the stock of the crypto. This right here was the front end. That move was the front end. This is already the back end, and it's already. I mean, it's trying to get its head above the water here. So not not great. So right here, the way we analyze the trend here, the highest point would be this versus the highest point at here, almost a resistance, horizontal resistance line. And so the opposite will be the low, and the lowest right here. And so it had a pretty convincing breakout here. And right now, what I would like to see is to see some pullbacks. This would be the resistance of that day, which is a higher point. And so we would like to see it bounce off the support level and reach new highs. That's kind of how I would look at it. So Corey is another one we'll analyze. Keep on watch. It's running now. Like FKH. If that's the right one, FKH. Yeah, FKH. So we got that right. Like FKH, waiting for pullback, bounce off support, and new test high of day. So we're gonna put the date, and it's that right there is like 150. Same time. We did this pretty fast. So yeah, we'll keep these three on watch for crypto. Pretty decent. Let's put this a little bit up because it's a mess right now. And that's pretty much it, guys. This is everything. This is the crypto filters right here, and then you have the Twitter. Oh crap! What did I just do? Let me put this down. There you go. Twitter tips to check on the stocks or the crypto. You do exactly as I stated here. Let's put this a little bit bigger so you guys can see. Um, right here you put the dollar sign, and right next to it you put the ticker symbol, either for crypto or for stocks. And then the next thing you would do, you put a full year, the full month, right, and the full date, right? You don't write the actual words, you write the numbers, and so you put on the right next to the ticker symbol, right? You press space, and then you put until, and which is from recent to old. You put until the two dots here, the year to the, if it's 2026, you put number one for the month, right? 01, and then you put right next to it, and oh, don't forget to put these middle things, these center lines here. And then right here you put today's date in that case, right? And then you press space, and then you put cents, and then you put these two dots in the same day, the year, right? Same year, or unless you want to check 2025 or any other year in the past. And then you put the month, and then you put the date that you want to check. If it's yesterday, you put the 12 or the 13 or whatever, and it's gonna give you the only a list of the news that you want to see of that specific stock or crypto. And um so that's pretty good right here. You go also talking about this, right? This right here, this formula, until and since, with the dates and the date and everything, you could use also this, not for only stocks. You could use this to check people, see, let's say for an example, I posted something last year and you saw it and you remember the date. Then you put, okay, I want to see all his stuff for this specific date, and you could do that as well on the X platform. That's the good thing about the X platform. You could do that. But This is pretty much it, guys. This is the list. And so I appreciate you guys sticking around for part two. I want to appreciate Rest Truth Pod for sticking around and showing support. Same thing for G2G Gaming. Gracias por venir y por darme el support y al apoyo de todo. Um, and so this is pretty much it, guys. I hope you guys like the stream. And just like I said, we do this on Monday. We from Monday to Friday. I can't give you guys yet like times, specific times that I show up because I'm where I'm available, and so sometimes I might have to go and do stuff, for my wife or whatever, and I can only do it in the early in the morning, or sometimes I could do it in the afternoon. Everything depends on what is my availability for that day. So I cannot put yet specific dates, but yeah, we'll do this from Monday to Friday, and then on the weekend we do gaming. And so right now we're doing episode 3. We will be doing episode 3 of Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker's Saga on Saturday, and so that will be fun, very interesting. I like the game. The stream is pretty good. I like it. The what do you call that? The graphics and everything is pretty awesome. So don't forget to show me support over there as well. When I'm streaming on the weekend, and thank you guys. Thank you for the community that has followed me and showed me support. And yeah, don't forget to hit the like, the share, and the follow, and share the stream all over the place to the on platforms and everything. And yeah, man, have a good night, and that's pretty much it. It's 5:06 p.m. I know it's a little late for me, but I'm glad you guys liked it. And if anything, any questions, hit the comments or hit me up in other platforms that I have available on my description. And that's pretty much it, guys. All right, take it easy. Have a good one.